So now we're going to do another target cover French, and in this case what we're saying here is kind of unorthodox because we play a variation that is fairly standard, but this player doesn't. So this is just basically an example of where somebody can go wrong in the middle of a very simple opening. So we'll, our engine's going already. We push, and they go to e4. Okay, so what's wrong with that? We just take. Okay, it's not that bad for black. He's only down half a pawn. So now the question becomes, how do we follow this up? You know, his queen is actually much more awkwardly placed than it looks. That's probably the wrong retreat. It just allows us to develop with a tempo. And now we're going to see what happens. Computer's recommending queen to h6. He takes the pawn and goes down 1. So now we're getting development. Now one of the interesting things is he's going to retreat this to h3, which is a Sony retreat square. And we're going to take the g-pawn. It's the follow-up to these things that create the issues in the game that black had. Now it's recommending queen to h6 again. Knight to c6, it says it's not that much worse. So he ends up moving knight to d7. And now the computer is recommending king to e2 as one of the primary moves. It's a very interesting idea. I don't think many human players would make that move. But king to e2 is preparing for queen to g1. A very, very basic idea. But we play rook to g3. Actually, we don't right away, do we? Okay, so now we're going to play it because he's... we never do play rook to e3. That's interesting. Rook to g3 would have been one of my primary moves. So he was threatening to trap the knight, but yes, you see there's no trap because there's a fork on g5. So we sack, and now all of a sudden we're up approximately 2. So now, what are his alternatives? Well, he's going to try to attack me on the back rank. So at this point, king to d2 is the indicated computer move, which is a very brave move because it allows, you know, simply a capture. But on the other hand, we get our fork back because we can move rook to g1. So we span across, allowing him to hurdle our rook. That's also an X-ray attack in modern parlance. So there he takes it. And now we are facing the rest of the game a rook down, so we have to checkmate black. And it says we're only up 1.87. So he's going to have to go wrong here at a certain point. And his right move is king to d8. That was the move I was scared of, in which case it basically forces our rook back to g7, and then we have our work cut out for us. Instead, he moves knight to g6. Knight to g6 runs into a forced mate. So, you know, starting with bishop takes check. And now the computer first found a mate in 10, then found a mate in 8. And this game ended about 4 moves later. It even ended faster. He didn't play the full 8 moves. So this was an example of allowing his queen, even a rook down in this position, having a rook on the 7th, and the fact that his queen is basically out of play. We may be playing a rook down, but he's playing a queen down. Well, the queen is 1 or 2 moves from getting back in the game. So the fact is that we're going to win this game, and we won't belabor it further.